To start, we're going to make a slip knot. Unravel some of your yarn and you're going to leave a tail of about 6 inches. When making a slip knot, I like to make a triangle shape with my yarn. Then I grab each side of the yarn and flip it to make a loop. Pay attention to whichever strand is on top of that loop, and then pull it through from behind. Now you've got a slip knot. I like to make this slip knot approximately 2 inches, or about the length of my finger. Now we are going to make a chain of stitches. Put 2 fingers through the slip knot, grab the working yarn, and then you're going to pull it through to make a new stitch of approximately the same size. Do that again, 2 fingers through, grab your working yarn and pull it through. You need to make a chain of approximately 12 stitches. Once you've made your chain, you're going to curve it round into a circle and tuck your tail into the last stitch you made. When you've completed your circle, you can tuck your tail out of the way. I usually put it in the centre of the circle. We are now going to do what's called knitting in the round. Your circle is made up of V-shaped stitches, with one half of the V on the inside and one on the outside. We are going to pull new stitches through all of the stitches on the outside of the circle. I like to put a peg onto my first stitch so I can remember where I started. You are now going to make your way around the circle, pulling new stitches through the outside loops. Keep going until you've made it back to the first stitch you made. When you've made it back to your first stitch, we're going to do the same thing again, making a new row. So I'm going to take my peg off, pull a new stitch through, put my peg back on to remind me of where I started, and then once again knit in the round, going around the circle until I've made it back to my peg. Once you've done 2 rows, it's time to make your stalk. Grab your green yarn. You make your stalk in a similar way to how you made your first chain of stitches. Make a slip knot and pull through 3 or 4 new stitches using the chain method we learnt at the beginning. When you're happy with the size of your stalk, you can pull the rest of the yarn through the last loop that you made and pull it tightly to close that stitch. Then weave the rest of the yarn down through all of the stitches in the stalk. Now we're going to attach the stalk into the pumpkin. Grab your string and we're going to thread the string around the inside stitches of the circle. Thread it under each stitch individually until both sides meet. When both sides of the string have come back together, pull tightly to close the circle in the middle. Before securing the string, you're going to pop your stalk in through the hole and pull tightly once again. I like to do a double knot here. When your stalk is secured, push your string down through the stitches so that it pops out on the other side of your pumpkin. Then turn it over. Now use your string to tie your stalk into place. I like to thread it through some of the lower stitches so that it's really stuck in the top of the pumpkin. You don't want it to be pulled out every time you pick up your pumpkin. When your stalk has been secured, you're going to continue knitting in the round. Keep going and do a few more rows. After completing 3 or 4 more rows, I like to introduce the cushion, just so I can follow the shape of it while I knit down. When your cushion is nearly covered, you might like to turn it over, just to make the knitting process a little bit easier. Keep going, knitting in the round until you've got about ½ meter of yarn left. When you've got about ½ meter of yarn left, you're going to start picking up all of the stitches by threading the remaining yarn through every single one. Keep going until you've picked up all of the stitches and you've reached the beginning of the circle again. You might need to be quite rough when stuffing your cushion into the pumpkin. Sometimes it can be a bit of a tight squeeze. If it's really not going to fit, you might like to take a pair of scissors to your cushion and rip out the stuffing and just use that instead. Once you've picked up all of the stitches, you can pull tightly to close the circle. Then tie your remaining yarn around one of the stitches and knot it. I then like to poke the rest of the yarn into the middle of the pumpkin. And that's it! You've made your pumpkin. Well done, and happy Halloween!